Welcome to my daily review. Today is Monday, August 4th, and you're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which closed Friday below the 21-day line and today rallied back above the 21 on very light volume. If you're into volume, I am not. But I did want to point out that this index today, the high was 21,055, and the low on Thursday, that reversal and gap down on Friday, the gap is 21,078, and the high was 21,055. So it did not quite close that gap. It didn't fill the gap by 23 points today. Just something to look for. But, below the 21, I'm more cautious. Above the 21, I'm more bullish, I'm more aggressive. So, yeah, we're playing teeter-totter here again. I don't like doing that, but that's the market that we have. The same thing on the SPY here. The low on Thursday was 630.77. The high today was 631.22, right? So it did fill the gap. The low was 630.77. Yeah, it did fill the gap. That must have been near the end of the day because I was kind of watching for that. Yeah, there you go, right at the end. So good for the SPY. So there's a gap fill, and it closed above its 21, 0.7%. So the indexes, you got to like them above the 21 and not so much below. I want to try to keep it as simple as possible. The Nasdaq closed 1.3% above the 21. Microsoft and Meta, the usual suspects driving the index higher. Microsoft up 2% after a pretty strong earnings report last week. Meta had a fantastic earnings report, pullback on Friday and just bounced today up 3.5%. And those are the stronger names. I want to point out that Amazon had a weak report, sliced the 50, and now today, even though the index was up, I don't know, I got to go back. It was up 1.95%, kind of like a fall through day, up 400 points, closed at 21,053. Oops, I forgot that little housekeeping detail. So the Nasdaq was up nearly 2%, and Amazon was down 1.5%. So that's a kind of a tell there for that stock. Google up 3%, looking better now. And Tesla, yeah, what they kept Elon on the CEO. Who else is going to be CEO at Tesla? Anyways, up 2% on that news. All right, I'm going to move on because we had some earnings reports this morning, quite a few of them in the drug sector. AXON Therapeutics had this big, bizarre candle. If you look at the 5-minute chart, this thing was all over the place. Yeah, gapped up at the open. Yippee, ki we're gonna rip higher, and then all of a sudden, whoops! Here come the sellers. That thing went from in a very short period of time, 109.88 to 96. So 13 points in about a half an hour. And then buyers came in and salvaged the day here, though, yeah, close up 3.4% higher on the session. So overall, a good session, and maybe that little washout got some of the weak hands out of there, some of the panic sellers. So a good day for Axon. The ticker symbol is AXSM. Beyond Tech, this is with Moderna. They teamed together for the vaccine. So this is kind of it's got some lovers and it's got some haters of this stock. But we're just trying to make money in stocks. Anyway, 123% sales growth, 48% earnings growth, although, this is a low bar here, right? They're losing money, so let's not make any mistake about that. But it responded 2.5%. So a nice day for that one. Some others that didn't do so well. One was Twist Bioscience. Yeah, fell off 10% there below the 50 and now just gapped lower and massive volume. And then TGTX, I really didn't understand this one, had a accelerating sales growth, earnings growth, they're earning money. And this thing, if you liked it at 46, you'd think you'd love it at 28 here after hours. But man, oh, geez. The only thing I can think of happened with TGTX today was that the European license is expired on August 1st. For them to sell the business to a buyer and then be able to take that license back to the acquiring business. And that license expired, so people were thinking that they were going to be bought out because their license expired. But that's the only thing I can think of. Pretty stellar fundamentals here with this thing. Big blue numbers here. The estimates were 138. They came in at 141. I don't know what a company is supposed to do. They delivered, above revenue estimates and guided higher for fiscal 2025. So anyway, can't argue with the market and this big volume bar. This is one day, just like the last time it sold off after earnings, 13% last time, 18% this time. So it's got a serial gap down, and you don't want to, yeah, that thing's got a long way to go. A lot of damage on that one. All right, another one, KNSA. These guys, yeah, had a nice response here, up 3%. A couple others that are not in drugs is Wayfair, man, had a nice response to earnings, up nearly 13%. And they went from flat to 5% sales growth, and from losing money now to making money. So that's a good sign for Wayfair. Who else do we have? On semiconductors. See, this is the problem with these guys are in the electric vehicle semiconductor space, and that's just not a hot space right now. That's kind of like in the past, and they're looking at AI and robots and other things, and so they're kind of in the wrong space right now. So I think that's it for earnings. Oh no, I lied. This medical services or medical systems equipment stock, IDXX is the ticker symbol. IDEXX Laboratories had a nice response to their earnings report, and you're seeing accelerated, sales growth 11% and earnings growth 7 to 17. So, nice response for IDEX. Oh, and Fresh Pet. We all love our pets. Fresh Pet finally got some love today, up 6% after they reported their earnings report, and they're going from losing money to well, at least flat anyway, and hopefully making money this year. All right. I'm going to move on to Joby. They bought a portion of the transportation portion of Blade, and this thing knifed through all resistance here, up 18%, 19% during the session. So Wall Street applauding that purchase for Joby. And then we had APH. On Sunday night, they announced that they were going to acquire ComScore, and the acquiring company was up 4%. And then so ComScore had this big, massive, yeah, 88, 86% move here. So congrats to the longs if you're a long ComScore. I am not, unfortunately. All right, that's it for the morning news and all the earnings and everything. And I'm just going to get to some of the stronger names here in the market. I'll start with my largest holding is GEV, just surfing the five. I know people had a conniption on was it Friday when, yeah, here when the panic sellers here, but this thing is just kind of cruising, kind of an easy hold. Yeah, there's nothing to do here. If you don't own it, you want in, you got to wait for these pullbacks. If you own it, you should probably think, I don't know, it's an easy hold, but once it starts getting up so much, I like to trim a little bit. How about that? All right, OKLO, this one looks like it's pushing towards 80 today. Nice move, but then pulled back. There you go in the morning, and then pulled back into the close of the session. Nice day though for OKLO. Yeah, these energy stocks are just hot. It's powerful. They're powerful. They're hot. The data center. The energy's in demand big time in this country. This is the number one group, alternative energy constellation with a nice move, 4%. So I think, you should own one in your portfolio. I own GEV, but there's a lot of them that are doing well. There's the also the utility group is doing well. It's a top 15 group. Talon, they made a deal with Oracle, and they've just been flying ever since. It's like they won't come down even one day, up 3.5% today. And Generac is an energy company, a power company. electrical power equipment, and these guys. I posted this on, I believe I posted it on my power earnings cap list last week, but yeah, I made a high of 197.18, so maybe we'll have a short stroke pattern this week. But still, you can see consolidating within a base there on the daily. I didn't put this on my ready list today, but it looks like it's maybe it pulls back a little bit and gets closer to the 5. I'd be interested in that one. It seems like most of the stocks that I see setting up have earnings this week, so I don't want to get ahead of earnings and get slammed like we saw with TGTX. All right. Some of the other names that reported already had excellent reports, and I posted this. I don't know if you saw my power earnings gap video that I posted this morning. I should probably put it in the education center, but Reddit, had that 164.55 gapped above it on earnings Friday and then followed through today to the upside to nearly 7%. Take a look at this 5-minute chart. Yeah, gap higher and go. That's what you want to see. In a strong market, you want to see these gaps and go, and you don't want to see them stalling or pulling back or undercutting the gap low. Another one was a glowworm. In the tech sector, I'm going to go back to the daily. You can see that gap higher out of a base last week, pulled back to the 5, found support, and then today, traded up higher. And this is what I'm looking for. A lot of these, I posted 4 or 5 here this afternoon that I'm going to get to. Reddit and Glowworm are certainly one of them. IRMD was another one. I'm switching now over to the medical systems group, and I shouldn't have done that. Oops. Sorry about that. I got to go back. A couple other of these tech names I want to point out. DoorDash, you could say that this is a little, flat base here, flat-ish base, a little wedge. I don't know what you want to call it, a shelf. But DoorDash, just a monster. Look at this weekly. This is one of the 6 stocks that I bought for my retirement account. Dash, Hims, Bros, Hood, TGTX. Yeah, I don't know. There were 6 of them. I can't. Rubric was another one. So anyway, they're all acting well except for TG. The drug stocks give me a hard time. And now Hims after hours doesn't look so hot. Oh, and then the other tech stock I wanted to show was a networking play, CALX, CALX, making new highs. That one looks good as well. All right. I do want to get to the medical stocks. This one gapped higher on Friday. This is one that I put on my video, the 10 that I kind of like from last week, or just from this quarter's earnings reports. Gapped higher 13% on Friday and followed through 6.8% today. Friday was just a real rough day, and when you see that relative strength, it kind of stands to reason that those things are going to follow through the next day, and a lot of them did. Transmedics, TMDX, these guys had news today. I forget the news, but they reported earnings last week and then followed through nicely here. So Transmedics is looking a lot better. RMD, another medical product stock, just blasting higher today, making new highs. IRTC, this is another one that I highlighted on that video. Gapped higher on Friday, and it was just flat in the session today. That's got to look like a short stroke pattern as well. And then ATEC, this is a medical product stock, up 8% today, and it's not waiting around for the short stroke pattern. You can see this consolidation here, and now it's moving higher. That one looks fantastic. All right, that's it for the medical group. Got to get to the software names. Cloudflare, they reported last week, pulled back to the 21 on Friday, and then, nice move today. You can see these gyrations here, man. This is, if you don't have conviction and you want to hold your stocks, this is tough stuff to hold through when it gyrates around like that. I mean, this thing was up, 211 and then down to 192. I mean, those are big moves. And but Cloudflare still, near new highs. Rubrik still consolidating within the base. Friday, undercut the 50. Today rallied back above it, and this one's just forming a base here. I got shaken out of it on Friday, didn't buy it back today. I'm just gonna give it some time here. If you look at the weekly, you can see that it's just, needs time within this base. But I like the stock a lot, and I do own it in my that long-term retirement fund. If that matters. Appfolio, fooled me. This thing broke out of a base hard on Friday. Yeah, almost a 20% move. Then today, rallied higher, made a new high. This thing looks fantastic as well. So there's a lot of names out there that are doing well. And I've got to get to some of my stocks that nobody likes, my gold stocks. This is GFI Goldfields. I put this on the ready list today. Did I buy it? No, but that's a really clean breakout with volume here for Goldfields. And yeah, that one looks good. Why didn't you buy it, Marty? Oh, I don't know. I don't have any gold stocks anymore, so I should probably look around and buy one. AEM, this one, this is kind of the leader of the group. This one in AU popped to a new high, up nearly 5% today. I mentioned AU, so I should show that one. Wow, what a move, up 9%. So gold was not up that much today. Last time I checked, it was up like a 0.5%. But these gold stocks, they're one of the top performing stocks. I post every Saturday those top performing groups, and sometimes they just go to sleep for a little bit and consolidate. And man, they were out today. Barrick, there's another one that I had on the ready list a while ago when it was hovering around that, 21 right in here, 2111 area. And this moved out today up nearly 4%. Barrick Mining. And the last one in this group, Ego. You got to have a big ego. Eldorado Gold. This one's still consolidating within a base. The problem is it's 3% above the five. It's uptrending five. Yeah, trading tight there. 521. That one looks pretty good at 2179. Sick. Look at the weekly. It's shown the ability to move, that's for sure. Yeah, it's got good cash flow, return on equity. Yeah, this is a lower beta stock, but sometimes you need those in your account. You can't have all, Reddits and Palantirs and Core Weaves. All right, I'm going to move on from that group to the retail group. AEO, Sydney Sweeney. Crocs hired Sydney Sweeney to do their advertising. She's a spokesperson for their Hey Dude brand, which they were trying to appeal to women and it didn't work. But they just hired on Sydney Sweeney, and the president tweeted about it that she's, some hot advertisement or something. And this thing rallied 24% on that. It's kind of silly season here in the stock market when you see stuff like that. But AEO moving without any news, just, the president kind of tweeting about it, and Sydney Sweeney is their spokesperson. And yeah, they still have these, decelerating growth numbers. So, but, just observing the fish tank here, up 24% today. Urban Outfitters, another one in the retail space, making new highs, breaking away from this base. I did not have this one on the ready list, but that thing sure looks ready. And then TPR is another one that, making new highs today in the retail space. That one looks fantastic as well. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of strong stocks, flexing today. But I'm going to stop right there and say thank you for watching and never give up in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I have one more thing, and that's tonight after hours, we have some news. I would say the most important earnings report tonight after the bell was Palantir, and they kind of knocked it out of the park. You can see after hours, it's up, more than 4%. This thing's just grinding higher on its moving averages. So, yeah, congrats to the longs there. Palantir, hims and hers reported, not such a great report. Slowing growth. Yeah. The problem with these young companies that are growing, I mean, there's a lot of spending, a lot of moving parts. And I don't know, it's just there's a lot of high expectations too. I want to say that their growth slowed from, you're looking at 77, 95, 111. I want to say like 43. I'll have it in the morning, but it wasn't what the street was expecting. MELI is getting pounded after hours. Yeah, down 5%, only $122. Below it's 50. That doesn't look too good for tomorrow's action. AXON. These guys are sneaky around earnings time. They always deliver good reports and have decent responses, and it was up about 3% after hours. NVTS, I did not see the report. Oops, down 13%. Sorry about that. Vertex, these guys, they probably need to buy some growth here. Down 14% after hours. I didn't see the report. I saw the reaction to it. I'll have it in the morning. But they could get into the weight loss category, or they could get into, just the multiple sclerosis. They could buy TGTX. They could buy, a lot of companies. They have a lot of cash on hand. This thing's a cash cow. You can see their cash flow, return on equity here. But I don't know if they're going to buy any growth. But some of these large pharmas, they do need to buy some growth here. BRBR Bell Ring Brands up 2.5% after hours. I did not see that report. LSCC, this is Lattice Semiconductor, a fabless stock down 2.7%. And then TDUP. Yeah, nice move during the session, 14%, up 8% after hours. So retail apparel, women's shoes, not bad for thread up. All right, that's it for me for real this time. We have tons more earnings in the morning, and then tomorrow afternoon, I'm looking forward to AMD, which reports, and they had a nice day today, back above the five here, and we'll see what they have to say. Kind of hard if you don't own it, kind of hard to buy it in front of earnings now, but this thing's been on a heater. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it trading higher. You could see this on the weekly, just a freight train to higher prices. All right, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.